Let me tell you something about fear. Real fear doesn't scream. Real fear doesn't throw itself in your face. Real fear whispers. And in America today, that whisper has become a voice almost every ordinary person hears when they wake up in the morning, when they sit in traffic, when they check their bank account, or when they lie awake in the dark trying to fall asleep. It's a voice that says, "What if tomorrow everything I've built disappears?" This is the fear no politician talks about, no motivational speaker wants to address, no news channel fully explains. But every American, rich, poor, middle class, young, old, feels it in some way. A silent fear of losing the things that took a lifetime to create. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell a story that belongs to millions of people, but feels like it belongs to one single person at a time.
Let's start with a man named Daniel. Not a celebrity, not some Hollywood character, just an average American. Working, honest, hopeful, and tired. Daniel wakes up at 6:10 a.m. every morning. Not because he wants to, not because he's excited about his job, but because he's afraid. Afraid of what happens if he doesn't. He grabs his phone. A notification pops up. Your credit card payment is due. Another one. Your electric bill has increased this month. And then, your bank balance is lower than usual. He hasn't even gotten out of bed yet. He hasn't brushed his teeth. He hasn't had breakfast. He hasn't even looked outside his window. But he's already stressed, already anxious, already feeling that cold pressure rising in his chest. Because in America today, the first thing many people think about when they open their eyes is their financial survival. Daniel sits on the edge of his bed for a moment. He rubs his eyes and tries to push down that feeling of dread. But it's there, every day, a quiet storm above his head. The fear of not having enough, the fear of losing what he already has, the fear of the unknown, the unpredictable, the uncontrollable. He whispers to himself, "I just hope nothing goes wrong today." Because he knows one thing. In America, one bad day, one unexpected bill, one emergency can flip your entire life upside down. Let me tell you about the day Daniel's fear stopped whispering and started screaming. It was a Thursday, nothing special, just another normal day in a normal week. He sat at his desk at work, sipping a mostly cold coffee, scrolling through emails. His eyes were heavy, but he tried to focus. Then the announcement came. "Everyone, quick meeting in the conference room." People exchanged looks, some confused, some worried, some too tired to care. The room filled slowly. The manager walked in holding a piece of paper that would change dozens of lives in less than 2 minutes. "I'll get straight to the point," the manager said. "We're downsizing. Several positions are being eliminated due to automation and restructuring." Automation. A word that sounds like progress until it becomes a blade cutting through someone's life. Daniel felt his heart beat in his throat. He stared at the floor. He didn't want to look up. He didn't want to make eye contact with anyone. Because the moment you see the truth reflected in someone else's face, you can't deny it anymore. The manager read a list of names, and Daniel's name was on it. For a moment, he couldn't breathe. It felt like the room was shrinking, like the walls were closing in. His hands went cold. His legs felt weak. He had worked there for 12 years. Loyal, reliable, never late, never caused trouble. But none of that mattered in the world he lived in now. Not anymore. He walked back to his desk in silence. The same desk he had eaten lunch at for more than a decade. The same desk he decorated with family photos. The same desk he once felt proud to sit at. He packed his things quietly. One coworker tapped him on the shoulder and whispered, "I'm so sorry, man." But what do you say to someone in that moment? What words could possibly help? None. Because in America, losing your job isn't just losing your job. It's losing your security. It's losing your routine. It's losing your identity. It's losing your place in the world. It's looking at your future and seeing a giant black hole where your plans used to be. This wasn't a tragedy on the news. This wasn't someone else's story. This was Daniel's fear becoming real. When Daniel got home, he searched for jobs online. And everywhere he looked, he found a wall. Must be familiar with AI tools. Must have experience with automation software. Must be adaptable to new technologies. Must understand data systems. It felt like the world moved forward while he was still trying to catch up. He thought about self-checkout machines replacing cashiers. He thought about chatbots replacing customer service. He thought about how groceries are delivered by robots, how warehouses are filled with machines instead of people, how AI writes emails, analyzes data, and even creates content. He whispered to himself, "How do I compete with something that doesn't sleep, doesn't eat, doesn't take breaks, and doesn't get paid?" The fear of technology is not fear of progress. It's fear of being left behind by progress. This fear lives deep inside millions of Americans. People who wonder, what happens when my skills aren't enough anymore? What happens when my job becomes a line of code? What happens when tomorrow arrives and I'm no longer needed? It's a fear of invisibility, of becoming outdated, of becoming replaceable. And that fear? It's real. More real than most people want to admit. After losing his job, Daniel checked his savings, or what he thought were savings. The numbers looked fine at first, but then he started calculating. Rent, utilities, food, health insurance, gas, credit cards, car payments, phone bill. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. He realized his savings were just an illusion, a temporary solution for a permanent world. And he isn't alone. Millions of Americans are one emergency away from financial collapse, one medical bill away from debt, one missed paycheck away from eviction, one accident away from starting life from zero. For many people, saving money doesn't feel like building security. It feels like trying to fill a bucket with holes in the bottom. Every time money goes in, another expense pulls it out. And that fear, the fear of watching your finances slowly drain, like water slipping through your fingers, that fear is constant. It follows you everywhere. It grows every time you check your balance. It tightens your chest every time you open your mailbox. It's the fear of not being able to give your family the life you promised. The fear of losing your home.
The fear of waking up one day with nothing left. Let me tell you something most people don't say out loud. Americans aren't just afraid of losing money. They're afraid of losing control. Control over their life, control over their choices, control over their future. Because when expenses rise but paychecks don't, when jobs disappear but bills stay the same, when technology grows but opportunities shrink, when everything costs more but nothing improves, people start to feel like passengers instead of drivers in their own lives. Daniel felt this deeply. He wasn't afraid of hard work. He wasn't afraid of learning new things. He wasn't afraid of starting over. He was afraid of failing, even after doing everything right. That's the fear millions share silently. One night, Daniel sat at his kitchen table alone. A single lamp lit the room. The rest of the house was quiet. He looked around. The fridge he bought years ago. The table his daughter spilled juice on when she was 3. The window he sat near during the pandemic, staring outside, wondering how long it would last. He whispered something he had never said before. "I'm scared." Not because he was weak, not because he didn't believe in himself, but because he was human. That's the thing. Fear doesn't make you weak. Fear makes you normal. The strongest people feel fear. The smartest people feel fear. The most successful people feel fear. The difference is what they do next. Here's a truth many Americans try to ignore. The world is changing. Fast. Faster than it ever has before. Jobs are changing. Money is changing. Technology is changing. People's expectations are changing. And when the world changes faster than people can adapt, fear grows. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being too late. Fear of being too old to start again. Fear of being too young to be taken seriously. Fear of being trapped in the same cycle with no way out. And yet, people still wake up every day. People still fight. People still dream. Because fear doesn't stop life. Fear only reminds you how much you care about the life you're trying to build. Daniel realized something important. Fear isn't the enemy. Fear is the signal. Fear is the warning. Fear is the sign that you're standing in front of a door you haven't opened yet. He asked himself, what if fear isn't here to break me, but to push me? What if losing his job wasn't the ending, but the beginning of something he never had the courage to try before? What if the world is not just taking opportunities away, but also giving new ones, ones he never noticed because he was too busy surviving? Fear didn't disappear. It transformed. It became the fuel that lit a fire within him. Every American today has the same choice Daniel faced. Let fear choke you, or let fear change you. The fear of losing your job can push you to learn new skills. The fear of AI can push you to become irreplaceable. The fear of inflation can push you to manage money smarter. The fear of uncertainty can push you to take control of your life. Because at the end of the day, fear is just the shadow. You decide whether you let it cover you or walk past it. This story isn't about Daniel. It's about everyone. It's about the millions of silent battles happening behind closed doors. It's about the people who cry in their cars before work. The people who check their bank accounts 4 times a day. The people who smile during the day but panic at night. The people who work 2 jobs but still can't rest. The people who try, and try,
even when everything feels like it's slipping away. This is the real America. Not the America on TV, not the America in movies, not the America in slogans, but the America built on quiet strength, hidden tears, and the courage to keep going when fear tries to stop you. So if you're watching this and you feel that same fear inside you, know this: you are not alone, you are not weak, and you are not at the end. The world is changing, yes, but so can you. Fear is real, but so is hope, so is resilience, so is the human ability to rise again. You don't defeat fear by running from it. You defeat it by walking straight through it, step by step, day by day, moment by moment. Because fear might whisper, but your future speaks louder. And this time, you get to decide the ending.